Hi and welcome back to the Yarn Chicken. Today is the second episode of If You Start Knitting Now, You'll Be Done by Christmas. Today is the nibbling edition. So niece, nephew, nibbling, any gender, I have got some ideas. So the definition of nibbling is a child or someone that you view as a child who is not necessarily related to you by blood, but that might well be a close person's child. So I have 3 biological nibblings. They are all small children, but I also have cool people in my life that I'm not related to that I view as my nibblings. And I sat down and tried to figure out what is the common factor for all of these people. And I realised that there is one thing that every self-respecting nibbling loves, and that is frogs. Simple as that, frogs. Is it a cool teenage girl with cool friends? Make her a cute little frog plushie. Is it a cool tween boy? Make him an ironic pair of frog socks. Is it a literal child? Is it a small child? Make them a kitten in a frog costume. Is it one of those angsty people that just hates waking up in the morning? Make them a cover for their alarm clock. Because nibblings in general are just on their phones way too much, so they shouldn't use their phone as an alarm clock. Get them a real alarm clock and knit a little frog costume for it. Or a bunny costume. I've got a pattern for both. So if your nibbling does not like frogs, regardless of age or gender or walk of life, talk to their parents because that is worrying. Every self-respecting nibbling will love something with a frog, either ironically or seriously, because they're cute, they are funny, they can be ironic, so they can't even say that, oh my god, this is so lame, because it is so lame that it went all the way back around to being cool. So I have a few patterns. This batch is not as heavy on the free patterns, unfortunately. Frogs apparently cost money, and that you will have to do with what you will. So let's get started. So my first frog creator is Claire Garland, because she has the cutest patterns for making actual little frog plushies. So I picked out 2 patterns. One that is the frog and toad couple from the children's book, where you get the patterns for the frog and for toad, and you also get a pattern for a little mushroom hat, a pair of dungarees and a sweater. This pattern is knit with a sport weight yarn on 2mm needles. A lot of it's done with I-cord, so you don't have to sew anything together, so the limbs are, as I understand, made with an I-cord. You then use some sort of wire to make it posable, and you knit the body flat with minimal seaming according to the pattern. The recommended yarn for this is a drops alpaca because it's a bit fuzzy, it fills out nicely, and it gives a dense fabric that is also very pettable. But seeing as it is a sport weight yarn, you can use basically anything. I think this pattern also includes different yarn options. If you don't have any scraps for sport weight, maybe you just have a fingering weight. I actually bought this pattern myself, and I'm intending to knit something for my personal nibblings. I'm also planning on knitting one for myself because it's freaking adorable, and apparently because you need these safety eyes, so toy eyes, and I heard other people say that you can't just buy a pair of them, you have to buy several, and I'm like, oh no, what a tragedy. I would have to buy a lot of eyes to make a lot of frogs. I could make a frog army. And from what I can tell, there is a bunch of patterns for outfits for these frogs. So the pattern itself for the frog and toad and these accessories is in British pounds £3.71, and it is available through Ravelry or through Claire Garland's website. I think this is a very, very quick knit. It calls for very little yarn, 50 to 60 yards or 46 to 55 meters, and the finished dimensions is 10 centimeters or 4 inches tall. So this is high up on my to knit list. I already bought the pattern and I have a few scraps that I think could come in handy for this pattern, including my worrisome brownish tencel yarn that I'm using for socks that I'm not sure about at all. That colour might be really good for a toad, but then I would have to find a white for the belly or a beige for the belly, but I am sure I have something in my stash. And for the next plushie pattern, this is a kitten wearing a frog onesie. This is Kitten in a Frog Suit, again by Claire Garland, and it is again a posable little figurine. It is 13 centimeters tall, 5 inches, is that right? 13 centimeters, let's go with that. And the pattern is £4.24. It is again knit on with very little yarn, so this calls for even less yarn than the frogs, but this doesn't have the very long I-cord legs. They are, as I understand, knit in tiny circulars, or not circulars, DPNs. The pattern is knit with a 2.25mm needle, and I'm sure you could modify this as well if you wanted a bigger size. Let's see if they have a recommended yarn. It's in a DK weight yarn, and she actually recommends Cardiff cashmere, which is such a luxury yarn and would make for an incredibly soft plushie for one of your loved ones. So if you have a nibling who is in the market for a snuggleable plushie, make them one of these. Again, what you would need are these safety eyes, and you could make a gang of these and give them different onesies. I don't know if she has other patterns for onesies or for suits for the kitten. I think this is a fairly new, yes, this was published in September, so this is a very new pattern, but it already has 8 projects on Ravelry, so it looks absolutely adorable. But if you don't want to make your nibblings something that is a plushie, because that might be too childish or it might not fit in their lives at the moment, although like a teenager could get one of these little frogs and have them hold their guitar picks, or have them hold their condoms if they're doing that sort of stuff, or have them hold their charger on the bedside table. So these posable little dudes, I think, are very useful and can be a fun way of presenting something useful. So if you don't know what to give your nibbling and you want a cute way of presenting your gift, this could be a gift with the gift. So for example, if you're giving your nibbling an extra long phone charger cord, give them the cord with this holding it, or give them a gift card with this little dude holding it. I think that would be a lovely idea, and they would feel seen and appreciated, and also get something that is useful to them. But if you do want something wearable, I have 2 frog patterns for socks as well. These are for a bit of an older crowd, at least for larger socks. The first pattern is Frog Lilies sock by Jacqueline Rivera. These grumpy little frogs are just absolutely adorable. They are a full colourwork shaft and a decorated sock, or a decorated foot of a sock. They come in 3 sizes and are just customizable to the nth degree, because the color combinations for this are just endless. You could make a contrasting toe or heel, or make the frog a different color, make them a psychedelic frog, make them a neon frog, make them a very artsy, toned down frog, because the backside of the frog, so what would be on the back of the shaft, is a beautiful leafy pattern, I think, to represent the grass of a pond. This is knit in a fingering weight yarn on a 2.5 and a 2.75mm needle, so I'm guessing you change depending on your gauge to keep a good gauge for the cuff and for the colour work section. The pattern is $6.36, which is at the high end, I think, of what I would pay for a sock pattern, but at the same time, this is a beautiful pattern. I would really enjoy knitting these. I think they are more advanced than where I am at my current state, because they have a few different techniques, and I think the floats are longer as well, and I don't have that tension ability just yet. I have to have a lot shorter floats to not lose my tension and mess up the end result. Also, I haven't had any luck with fingering weight yarn for my socks yet. I am currently at a sport weight, and I want to work myself down to a fingering weight at one point or another. It takes time. I'm giving myself the time to get a good gauge. One of my projects for this autumn was figuring out a good tension and technique for small needle colour work, and I'm currently working a 3mm needle with sport weight yarn, and that works fine, and I think I am just about ready to start figuring out a smaller needle size. So this could be something. This also has a picot edge on the very top of the shaft, which I think is just a lovely little detail, making them that more dainty. So this is the more serious sock option. If you have a nibbling that is more aesthetic or more toned down, not as loud and out there. If you, however, want a pair of socks that are louder, my favourite knitwear designer at the moment, Stone Knits, or Charlotte Stone, she has a frog pattern as well for her socks. This is the Kiss a Frog pattern. This pattern is, as far as I can tell, only available in her book, Joyful Colourwork Socks. The book is available at my local library, so I was able to borrow it and find the pattern. So I hope you could do the same. That would make this pattern free. If you do not have it available in your library, I would definitely recommend buying it, because it's a lovely book. It's really fun how she has sectioned the different patterns into chapters around different topics, so pets and outdoors or spring or holidays or partying. I recently knit the melodrama socks from that same book, and I really enjoyed the outcome. I didn't enjoy the yarn, but that is a different story. So this pattern is knit on a light fingering weight yarn on a 2.25 and 2.5mm needle, so quite a lot smaller than I'm currently working that I just worked my last stone knit pattern. It's available in 3 sizes, and depending on your gauge you could go up or down in sizes. So if your nibbling has a smaller foot or a larger foot, because nibblings can have huge feet too. I'm just waiting for my nibblings to grow up and have huge feet. Looking at their family, their biological family, they should probably end up having huge feet. Great stuff. My father wears a size 46, And if I have to make frog socks in a few years in a size 46, I better start in February if I want to be finished by Christmas. But these are very doable by Christmas if you don't have a size 46 to contend with. For another quick little project, I have an alarm clock cover. This pattern is 2-in-1, so the pattern consists of one cover that is a frog and one cover that is a bunny. So depending on your nibbling, you could choose either or both. This is also a gift that you could be practical with, because if they need an alarm clock, buy them that and cover it with one of these. I think that could be a fun thing. And then they could decide what to do with the tiny knit thing. Maybe that will just follow them up through life until they retire the clock. I recently had my alarm clock break, and I'm not joking you, I've had that clock since middle school. I was very upset when it broke. All of a sudden it just stopped. The battery was no problem, the light was no problem, the mechanism just didn't work, it just didn't tick, which was unfortunate. So I'm in the market for a new alarm clock. So probably that is what made me think of this. This is the alarm clock costume, bunny and frog costume by Netta's Knit. This pattern is $2.12 and available through Ravelry. This pattern also takes very little yarn, 40 to 80 yards, or what is that in meters? 37 to 73 meters, so a very small amount of yarn. It is knit on a DK weight and a 2.5mm needle, so making it quite a tight yarn or a tight fabric. I would probably do a fuzzier yarn for this to not have a very clear stitch definition, because some of the increases and decreases might be a bit too bulky or obvious if you use like a cotton, for example. But again, an alpaca would be a good fuzzy option. Something held together with a mohair might also be fun. And with this, you can either use your leftover plushy eyes, or you could use googly eyes, which is honestly such a nibbling thing too. Oh, yes. An idea that will drive your nibblings parents crazy, but that your nibblings will love. Give them a pair of googly eyes. Just a pack of googly eyes. They will start googly eyeing everything in their house. Their parents will go crazy, but it's such a harmless prank, and it's such a funny thing to just pick up your favourite mug and see that there are two googly eyes at the bottom of it looking back at you, or taking out the milk carton and finding googly eyes on the cow. They will love it. Give them that and this alarm clock and they will love you. And for the last pattern, I have a wearable. This is a frog hat. This is just called DK Frog Hat by Knits R Us. It's knit on a DK weight yarn with a 4mm needle and a 5mm needle. It comes in 3 sizes, which I'm guessing are children's sizes because the largest is 56 centimeters, and that is my head circumference, and I don't have a large head. So I think that is technically a children's pattern, but honestly, anyone can wear it. It's cute. So it is an ear flap hat with eyes on top and braided tassels on the ear flaps. I think it's really cute. I think definitely at least one of my nibblings would love this. The other might prefer wearing a princess crown. This pattern is £3.17 and it is available through Ravelry or the Knits R Us website. There is an errata available for this, so just make sure that if you get the pattern to also check out the errata, because if something is missing or something is not looking good in the pattern, the original pattern, you would probably find the explanation in the errata. So that is the correction of the pattern that came out after the original pattern was published. So here we have my nibbling gift selection. These are all fairly quick knits. I mean, the Colourwork socks by Rivera, what was their first name? Jacqueline Rivera. That would probably take a lot more time because you would have to have the pattern in front of you to follow the chart. The Stone Knits frog pattern would be quicker because I'm guessing you would remember, or you could read your own stitches in the pattern before. So you could just go about, just take your knitting with you on the train or in meetings and knit as it is, because it's only 2 colours. That's what I did for my watermelon socks. I didn't need the pattern after the first pattern repeat or 2. So if you know how to knit a pair of vanilla socks, you can just take the stitch chart, the colour chart for the pattern, and just run with your normal vanilla construction. So fairly quick knits, fairly small amounts of yarn. I mean, for the socks you would have to buy specific yarn to have the appropriate quantity, but the others are absolutely doable with your scraps. So make a blue frog, make a pink frog, make a psychedelic frog, make a neon frog. But make sure that in your quest to become the coolest aunt of any gender that makes the coolest gift for your nibblings, you don't accidentally turn the nibblings' parents into the bad guys. Because if you knit them a gorgeous frog hat that the parents then have to wash because it fell in the mud and the hat shrinks, that is a disaster. So make sure to use superwash yarn whenever possible, whenever something is going to be washed, or to include a note saying that you will wash the item. I do that with my more delicate knits that I give to someone. If you need to wash this, and if you are afraid of washing it, if you don't know if you can get it washed properly without damaging it, give it to me and I will do it for you. Because in that way you will take away their fear of wearing or using the item, because it would have to be washed afterwards. So they can use it, and then whenever it's dirty, you can take it back, wash it, take care of it just like you know how to do, and give it back to them clean, and everyone is happy. And as I said, if your nibbling does not like frogs, talk to their parents. I would be worried. I work with cool kids. All of them love frogs, ironically or not. I hope you enjoyed these tips. If you make any of these, please let me know. I'd be so happy to see them. You could even tag me on Instagram. I have a very inactive account there, but if you do make them, please tag me. I would be excited to see whatever you get up to. And if you enjoyed today's video and you wanted to see what to make for your father or for your grandmother or for a friend, click the subscribe button and I will pop up on your feed whenever I posted a new video. If you want to, you can check out my other videos right here. I have some work to do. You have some work to do. Let's get on with it. Take care.